All right, there we go. OBS failing me, forgetting my input for my microphone. That has never happened before. So, you know, the one thing you count on not happening, it happens. But we recovered. We're here. How's it going? I hope you all can hear me now. I think you can. It shows me you can. So, background cat is Cleo, just trying to jump up on the Lego sets, everyone. Anyways, hello and welcome to Sunday Night Team League X-Wing, guys. It's week 4. We're wrapping up, and it's been a crazy week, honestly. You've had some teams win their first series of the season halfway through. You've had teams who are undefeated, every single one of them losing their first series of the season. So not one team is going to be undefeated in this league, which is pretty cool. Honestly, I like the balance I've seen so far. Some teams have pulled away a little bit, but nobody is really running away with anything quite yet. And that just makes it exciting. It's good for ratings, you know, it's just good for ratings. I got another thing I wanted to show you guys though, really quick, that was for this on the Sith Taker Open. Let me go over to the tab really quick. It was teased. Paul Heaver joined the Sith Taker Open, and they chatted about this new Kylo Ren SL. This is official from XWA. It's going to be a part of the Evacuation of Dakar pack that that we previewed a few days ago. It's cool as you get to see some specifics of a new pilot that they are working on, and that will this is it. You know, it is being pointed, it has been tested, it is pretty much ready to go. You know, obviously sometimes maybe there is the smallest possible chance that some things could be tweaked, but this is pretty much what we expect to see. So we got Silencer Kylo, another Silencer Kylo, this one the SL, which we don't have an SL for First Order or Resistance. They don't exist for either of those two factions. But with 3 Force, the same stat line, same actions, auto thrusters, all that, but a different ability. This one is the Whisper Kylo's ability. So before an enemy ship in your bullseye would be dealt a face down damage card, you may spend 1 force. If you do, that card is dealt face up instead. And then he has a new talent called Determination, which basically allows him, while he has performs a primary attack, if the enemy ship is in his bullseye, he may spend a he may suffer a damage, not spend a force, suffer a damage to add an eyeball result. So potentially a 5 dice Bangarooski at range 1 bullseye. Then he has Malice. We know what Malice does in proton torpedoes. And it has been confirmed that this pilot will be 7 points. So, what do you guys think? Gotta get her off of that shelf there. All right, there we go. I hate spraying her, but it's just the only thing that gets her off of there. Otherwise, she just stays on there forever. Tries to knock things over. Yeah, she's this bottle, man. But anyways, I honestly think that this Kylo is exciting, is scary, but priced fairly. And, you know, could fit into a lot of FO lists. There's going to be more FO pilots as well than just Kylo, so it'll be interesting to see how people build FO, getting more options, which is cool. But on another note, we've got our first Team League matchup. We've got Dumpster Donuts. We got KDB King Scooter versus the Horse Awakens Aeriic. We've got Rebels versus Republic here, left to right. I'm going to open up betting now, and I'll break down the list in a moment. We are playing Salvage Mission. Betting is open. Yeah, Kylo, but angry. Well said. Let's see audio. And we are ready to go. Good, our first catch of the day. Starting us off here, Gary's way. Let me see if my headphones, if I can hear these redeems. Redeem Bob.
Not great, Bob.
No, okay. You guys can hear it. I can't right now. Advanced audio properties. Alert box. Monitor off. Monitor and output. Close. And then league assets. I'm gonna turn this on one more time real quick. There we go. Now I can do that. Woo! All right. Wish I had more confidence in Rebels. They could use a little bit of love, but if you look at the factions, so I definitely encourage you guys, even if you're not in the league, you do ! Team League, click that link and go to the faction stats page. There's some really enlightening numbers. Rebels aren't doing too bad. They're like slightly below the curve, but they're close to 50%, almost across the board. First Order is the faction that struggled the most. Let me check where we're at now, but I believe they were 0 for like 12 or 11 in salvage mission alone. And that was really, really fascinating to me. So faction stats is what it's called. First Order. Hey, they got their first win on salvage today, actually. 1 and 11. I actually need to congratulate Funwalk on that because he was the one that did it. That's great. Good for them. And they're a good faction for salvage, so it's just kind of interesting to see. But they have a 9% win rate on salvage now, 14% on assault, 36% on scramble, and the closest to 50% is 45 on chance. Rebels, though, have a 46, 62, 50, and 60 across. So assault, chance, salvage, scramble, 46% on assault, 62.5% on chance, 50% on salvage, and 60% on scramble, which is interesting because everyone, complains about Gavin Darklighter in salvage mission, and yet whether people are bringing him or not in this league, when they know they're playing salvage, they're only winning half the time. It's a good Rebel scenario, but 50%. So good enough of a Rebel scenario. All right, let's do the list really quick, folks. So Scooter bringing Rebels here. He's got Custom Luke with that Debris Gambit and Brilliant Evasion. He's got Gina Moonsong in the B-Wing, I-5 with the Proton Cannons and Fire Control System. Just 4 points there, which is nice. Gavin Darklighter has R3 Fire Control and Advanced Optics. No Pattern Analyzer on this Gavin, but Optics really strong for Gavin as well. Ezra Bridger with Targeting Computer, K2SO, and Brilliant Evasion. For me, honestly, this is the only build on Ezra that you should take, especially in salvage. The scary thing is that Ezra could get bullied next turn. He probably needs a 3 straight, and yet at that point, does he even grab the crate, or is he just take an evade? He could also give himself a calculate for defense. And then AP5 with Leia Organa, and you've got the Phantom title. Doesn't really do anything in this list. Then on the Rebel or the Republic side, we've got Aeriic bringing Plo Koon with CLT and Predator. We've got Oddball with Plasma Torpedoes and Besh configuration. Click. I'll double check these colors because I think they're a little off. Click has Esk, R3, and Marksmanship. We've got Arc 170 and Jag, the SL Arc, Veteran Tail Gunner, R4P, and Synced Console, as well as board for this. Axe, SL Axe with his Barrage Rockets and Deadeye Shot, super good. And another Barrage Rocket Carrier with Enduring, Synced Console, and those barrages. All right, let me get the colors right now.
Should let me read that.
Who crashes my... It's too late. You're too late. Who crashes my stream?
It's
Late
Matthew No
is the hour.
Swaggins.
And Matt No Swag Carry arrives at Isengard, seeking my commentary.
Howdy. Howdy to you and howdy to the chat.
How's it going, man? Are you using a different microphone? Or your phone?
No. Maybe it's being wonky. I don't know. What's that?
I could hear you just fine. I was just curious. You just sound like a little more like compressed, I think is the word for it.
I don't know. Sometimes it's the same headset, but it's the one that I use for my PlayStation 5 as well. So it
notorious for the subpar but passable quality.
I guess. I don't know. It's just whenever I swap it between the two, maybe sometimes it just doesn't like it. I don't know.
Yeah, no worries. The stream should be able to hear you. I could hear you just fine. Well, thanks for giving me some company. I was gonna cry myself to sleep tonight if I didn't get anybody to join me, but
yeah.
So Sith Taker Open, Matt, Dom Flanagan, who's in this league, won it all. He brought Separatists, right? Is that my understanding?
I've heard that.
Okay. I hear that they're pretty good.
Yes.
I also need to tag Funwalk in the Team League General chat because he's the first player in 4 weeks to win a game with FO on salvage. They're 1 for
Oh
11
wow,
now.
that's good for him,
So,
man.
9% win rate in a small sample.
Jeez.
Congrats on being the first FO player
Is
to win a salvage
is the
game.
dice cam off, or did they just not roll in the dice
It's
pit?
on for me. Let me make sure that the feed is coming through because it says it's on.
Okay.
Looks like it's on.
They,
I think we're good.
It's possible that they did not roll in the box. All I heard was rolling dice.
Yeah. Oh, it's just for their road roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they did not, it appears.
Okay. But yeah, CIS doing strong. Another thing that I noticed about Sith Taker is like they had like I want to say it was like 140-ish people, participants,
A lot
and
of people.
only 7 of them were rebels, which is weird.
Yeah. I think there's a bit of a misunderstanding that rebels are worse off than they actually are. I think they just don't feel as exciting because I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe. I don't know.
I don't think anybody thinks they're bad. It's just I don't know how to account for it. The only thing I can think for is, like you said, is or I can't remember who suggested, but somebody said maybe they're just not as fun to fly with, not to build with. I mean, because like they had the majority of their stuff from like XWA or from AMG released. So you gained the K-wing, you can gain the E-wing.
Yeah, you gain the E-wing is the biggest thing, right? The K-wing is like conditional for a lot of people. They would, a Sigi is not going to do it for me.
That's
I don't care for it.
It's basically a Sigi. Nobody else.
Yeah.
You're not really flying much else. Like I've seen people fly Miranda, but that's probably not what people are doing.
Look at Will having to run away with Ezra and not grab a crate, and instead he gives it up to Oddball. That's wild.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in like Aeriic just grabbed 2 crates and is not going to have to take any shots for it, because
yeah, that's such a nice time to grab a crate.
Which one's the green one? Click, and Oddball both grabbed objectives, and nobody's near them. Plu getting greedy there. He's like, I want to shoot into this.
I want to get this 3 dice just so I can miss.
Yeah, this 3 agility force, and evade ship.
At range 3, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's really excited about that shot.
Let's go. Yeah, I was reading the faction stats, and I know we've gone back and forth about. I find this data to be still insightful because the matchups, the scenario, but you could bring up to 3 factions potentially.
Yeah.
So I find that caveat to make this data just a little more intriguing than maybe it would be if you had a complete total knowledge. And Rebels,
it's insightful.
Yeah, it's insightful. And XWA, I sent it to them, and they thought it was interesting. I mean, more data, the better. And I always qualify, like, hey, I want you guys to know this is how this league works. The matchups, the scenario is determined, but the players can choose their own faction or 2 others that isn't being used that week. And so we were hashing it out and talking about it. You're in that server, you know how it is.
Yes.
So
for the folks at home.
For the folks at home, Assault 46.67%, so 47% for Rebels. Chance 62. Salvage 50%, which the Gavin meta 50%, and then Scramble 50%. So in terms of performance in this league, Rebels maybe, like you said, the list building isn't as thrilling, but they're certainly not performing like FO is. Because let me read the FO numbers for you guys really quick. Here we go. Assault 14%. Chance 45%. That's pretty decent. Not the best, but it's decent. Salvage 9%. 1 for 11. It's Scramble 36%. 4 for 11. Which salvage in Scramble especially, I like for FO a lot.
Yeah.
But so they must be playing against CIS a little too much.
Yeah. So we did just see Plo burn his force to try and get, because he rolled hit crit into he added a CLT eyeball, but it eventually got to hit crit, but Ezra rolled statistically average and spent the evade and force and got away from it.
Yeah, he
But
didn't do what my Ezra did in my game on NCX, just get one-shotted by a proton torpedo.
that's harsh.
Yeah, so he was on the
But,
board edge flying the opposite way, and Breach just like yeeted a proton torpedo into him, and I was like, okay.
but yeah, FO not doing strong. So like when they had FO had one in the cut, as the Rebels had one in the cut, but they only brought 7. But FO only had one in the cut, but they brought 9 people brought them. So it's like, but using your statistics where you look at it and you're like, FO ain't doing so well, and it kind of feels like they're one of the publicly acknowledged um, factions that just can't quite find their footing.
No.
Like XWA is doing what they can, but I we'll see how things going, including with a new SL. I mean, that we've had spoiled.
and more new pilots that we'll see in the FOs and SFs. The same issue is just the same number of the same chassis. You know, you have just a few options, whereas XWA opens up everything and Pandora's box is revealed, and FO's like, cool, Upsilon, that's what we get.
Yeah. Whereas like the faction that took the lion's share was Scum. I think they had like 20. They had the most. They beat out Empire by 1, but Scum isn't like, people aren't looking at Scum and being like, they're doing incredibly well. People are looking at Scum and saying, there's Scum had so many ships that were stuck and extended that I think their big selling point is that they actually get to play with those tools. So everybody's like, oh, I get to take my Shadowcaster. Oh, I get to take my Star Viper. Maybe somebody's excited about a Kimogila. I don't know. I loved them in second, in first edition. They kind of didn't do anything for me in second or 2.5. So, but yeah, I think that might have been a driving force for the for Scum to be the top, but they only had like 3.
The reality too is that just some chassis are just not. There's not good. The extended options. I think the Kimogila is a great example of like just a very awkward choice to take in a list. It's just like I mean, I honestly feel a similar way about the Sheathipede, but we are seeing AP5 getting some love, which certainly has its value, but the jury's still out for me outside of like Terex on like total support pieces in 2.5 scenario play.
Yeah, it's Psy gets away with it because Psy has a 3-die gun, you actually get to contribute to the fight. Whenever I take Psy, it's like, yeah, you're shooting at me, I'm soaking damage, and I could actually put out damage, I do think there is place for, so I would, in the same place as Terex, I would put the generic LAT, the 212 Squadron.
212 trying to rip off the 312 being 212.
Yeah. 212 Squadron, and I think Squadron. Yeah. So yeah, I think there's some room for support ships, but they have to be cheap and they have to have the health to just live. I think one that might be kind of slept on is K2SO in the U-Wing. I think K2 should sit in the same realm as Psy, because you can coordinate, and coordinating gives you a stress, which gives you a calculate. So you get some action economy there that's similar to Psy, but not the same. But you also have a little more diversity in that you can pick any action that's on an action bar instead of just the same one. But I look forward to drilling down. I'm really glad that XWA got a huge tournament in the STO. It's very cool. We're seeing the first. I think that's the first large live play.
And the only caveat with that is that tournament was always planned, so it's good to see the numbers that big. No doubt. They sold out very quickly, and they do a good job of selling out their events. Not taking anything away, I just think that's the only thing, is it's not like that tournament was put together a few months ago. It's been a
Yeah, no,
recurring tradition.
Sith Taker Open happens every year type
Yeah.
deal. Yeah.
Michael Tequilasaurus Rex buying an XWA shirt with our logo. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Very cool.
Appreciate your support and representing both the org and us, our org, all the orgs.
All right. We got Plo taking another one of these shots at Ezra for what it's worth.
Real quick, Matt, I don't think did Gavin get a chance to, was he coordinated a lock? Because he didn't have locks a second ago, and now he does?
He did get some double locking there.
Okay. Oh, he was, yeah, okay. He has a focus too. I thought he maybe
really the chat should be telling us what happened.
Yeah. Come on, chat. Not enough dice for Ezra?
Yeah, she's rolling 4, right? I mean, nobody else is shooting, so he's
okay. I was
fine.
gonna say, yeah. This is gonna be bloody.
Yeah. Here comes the hurt, especially when one of the ships that's in this is just well, 2 of the ships are just single agility.
Plasma torpedo is Besh only primary? I assume it is.
Besh is only primary,
and you're gonna have to spend your focus or eat 3 shields. Assuming this is gonna be into Gavin. And it's not, the E-Wing doesn't like to be taking 2 to 3 shots in the first engage, or second engage technically. 2 shields down, plasma effect hits, and then another shield.
Adam A. Smith, if you jam a ship with R3, do they lose both locks or just one? They lose the first one, and the second one, I believe, has to be on another ship object.
You can relock you can relock the same object, is what I've been told. This is what DU told me once.
Oh, I thought
because the lock doesn't exist anymore.
No, it says each lock must be on a different object. So
right. So where's the other lock if it's not there anymore? I think is like argument.
I mean, if I would go with whatever judge said. The judge says, but if I was the judge in that scenario, I would say that you have to be on a different one. All right. We did see a Luke shot just knock off a.
Yeah. That is how much damage into? Oh my gosh! So hit, crit, blinded, and damage engine into Tucker.
That makes a terrible dial worse. I'll be right back. I gotta let some dogs in.
Cool. All right, now for your worst commentator, Nick. It's just, that's a awful shot there from, is that Gina at I-5? Yep. And only does 1 single damage to Jag there. Shield down on Jag. Now we're going to take another shot, click into Gavin. For double crits, Gavin going to need to roll at least 1 evade and not take a crit. He took, 2 evades out of hand there. Now King Tuck. No, Gavin, rather. Gavin, do you keep going to Jag? I think you do. You don't have a lock on
I think so.
viewings.
Yeah. I mean,
here, I'll ask Maui about it. I'll tag him in the rules questions. Because I think you're right, but I remember DU a couple years ago saying you could reacquire.
Ooh.
Also, false stress modder codes is really awkward. The timing with first player order as well. Oh my god, it's terrible.
Yes. Yeah, that was not great. Not great, Bob.
He probably just takes it on the shield so he can try to kill Gavin. Or you could check for Born for this, but I think you just take it on the shield.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, shield.
Yeah, you maximize your offense when you're only losing 1. If it was somehow he could evade 3, then yeah, you would spend it.
Oh, Gavin takes all 3.
Jeez.
This is not the where Gavin should be.
This is why Gavin is not winning.
My last game, right. My last game, Gavin did get shot at once, so that was pretty awesome.
See, that's how you got to play, Gavin. Never get shot. That way,
yeah, totally. Is he shooting to Gavin again? Oh no, he's dead. He's gone. That's it for Gavin. Yeah, that is a massive explosion of points. 5
Jeez.
points. Barrage rockets. You can't live without them. Can't live with them. Can't. No, I can live with them.
That poor fool. Not Will, the Gavin himself. If he wanted to live, he would have rolled better. We got Tuck taking his blinded pilot shot for a single crit. Oh, got the crit through on Luke. Luke with his double blanks. Are you, Nick? Are you just silent, or are you just not commentating?
You can't hear me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm silent. So how many? Luke takes 1.
Yeah.
Not the best round for Rebels.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was responding to a DM that I was getting at Discord.
Oh,
I try not to talk while I'm typing.
The ladies just hopping in your DMs. I got you. Yeah, not the best for Rebels. You lost one of your heavy hitters, and now Gina's kind of sitting there with everybody looking at her. Not going to be good. Because the B-Wing's not very maneuverable, so it's very likely that you could have 6 shots going into Gina next turn.
There's a chance that we play some Totally Accurate Battle Simulator after this. That is the default when there's way too much time between rounds.
Oh.
How are you doing, Matt? How was your weekend?
My weekend was decent.
Okay.
I've been making my way through the Oscar, the best film picks. I have 3 down, and I have a bunch to go.
Yeah, I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any of a Dune, which is like good for it for being nominated, I guess. But
yeah,
that's where shows what kind of year the movies I've had.
Yeah, I watched A Complete Unknown, which is the Bob Dylan story. Which I'm sure if I liked Bob Dylan, it would have been better for me. I'm not saying it was bad, but it didn't do much for me.
Yeah,
and then
that's the Chalamet's in that movie, isn't he? That's like
yeah.
He's getting cast and everything.
So there was a really good performance in it. Ed Norton's in it, and he played Pete Seeger, which is another musician, a folk musician, and he just really nailed the role. It was really good. So he got nominated for Best Supporting, and I wouldn't be surprised if he won. And then I watched Amelia Perez, which I did not know was going to be a musical. That was that threw me off. It's not like normal musicals.
Were you Folly a Dude?
Yeah, actually, I knew that one was a musical. But so like most musicals are like 60% musical and then like 40% talkie time. This one was more like 65% to 70% talkie time and just 35% musical. So it has a completely different feel than most musicals, and it's just a completely serious movie. So it doesn't have the stage playness that a lot of musical movies do. So it was really weird. It was a odd take. I don't know. I knew nothing about the movie going in, so that was part of it. Where it was like, and I leaned over to the 2 people that were watching the movie with me. I was like, "Did you know that this was going to be a musical?" They're like, "Nope."
Nothing like this little surprise musical.
Yeah.
You know. I will say this was 20,
just gone.
Yeah, buddy, he's gone. we're talking about Chalamet. He's like in everything, right?
Yeah,
I really like, and I'm not a big musical guy, but I actually thought Wonka was really good. I was
I
surprised,
did not see it.
and then I realized it's the same guy who made the Paddington movies that did this. It's like, okay,
I
it all makes sense.
so I heard that Paddington 2 is one of the best
The
movies of
greatest
all time,
movies
but
of all time.
I've never seen it. But like anybody that I've heard that has been like, yeah, Paddington 2, have you seen it? Yeah, no, no. Oh, but it's so great, you should watch it. I'm like, how was this like a sleeper hit? You know, how did I heard about it coming out, but I didn't know it was going to be like a thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, well, you keep, you say you haven't seen it. There's always, shouldn't be a priority when you're doing Oscar watch stuff right now, but there's always enough time in a year to watch one of the best movies ever made. So
Yeah,
if you decide to
certainly.
watch a movie that you would never assume that you should watch, and then be like, wow, I don't know what to say. I love this movie. It will be your reaction. It's really
I guess
funny
so.
too. It's really
It's
funny.
either that, it's either that, or like at the end of the movie, just before the credits, it says, "Tell everyone you know that this is the one of the best movies you've ever seen, regardless of how you feel about it."
You
I don't
know,
know.
where my brain was at a few years ago, that
What's that?
uh Paddington 2 had a 100% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes for like 3 or 4 years, and then
Yeah.
somebody gave it a review that dropped it to 99, and I was furious.
So something that I learned
Someone ruined my
is,
life.
and I was never the same. No, there's one of the movies that I know that is 100% on IMDb is the first Terminator movie, and I'm like, that's like, it's a decent movie,
That's interesting.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
That's interesting.
of the Terminators, I would have thought it would have been Terminator 2.
Yeah.
And of like James Cameron movies, I probably would have made it Aliens. You know, it was like, but that's the one that has 100%. And I'm like, okay, I think it's flawed, but it's still fun and good, but not 100% good.
Yeah, 100. That's a big number. Only Shaun the Sheep and Paddington 2 have the right to be near 100%.
All right, we got a oddball shot into Gina.
Oh, and Return to the King. It's what movie that's like, I think it's like The Revenant that has like a 70%, and I'm like shocked because The Revenant's really, really good. And I'm like,
That's one I
70?
missed. I would like to see that.
I think Shutter Island 2 doesn't have a very high score where it belongs.
Yeah,
Shutter Island's phenomenal.
so I'm not a Scorsese guy, so I might agree with that, but I don't know.
You haven't seen it, right? Because Shutter Island's like just
Yeah.
peak cinema.
No,
It's cinema.
I'm not. It's just there's so many Scorsese films that I don't care for, and like I went and saw Killers of the Flower Moon, to because
Oh yeah, I didn't like that movie that much.
shot. Dude, it was like 40 minutes of an okay
AP5?
movie.
Paul
What do you
Breach
do?
on
Oh,
AP5.
double.
Just biffed his defense
Yeah.
role.
I actually agree with Flying the Mighty there. Two Towers is better than Return of the King.
Oh my
but
gosh, okay. Sure.
Listen, I don't think you should complain that a Lord of the Rings movie is better than
Better than a Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
I think that one you should be like, yeah, okay, fine, you know.
Yeah.
But
It's
if
just
I said
interesting.
a Hobbit movie was better than a Lord of the Rings movie,
Yeah.
you should.
I mean, the Lord of the Rings movies are
find
my
me
favorite Weinstein bro movies.
Ugh.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Ugh. You're like, Nick, you've ruined it.
Yeah.
Well, Tucker died.
Yeah. Luke said, you know what? I'm just gonna put you out of your misery.
Oh, come on. Range Zero madness. Give it to me. Get Scoot back in this game. Speaking of the king,
no.
that's a Will KDB, the king. And
Still gets the damage. Oh wait, no, gets him
No.
to spin the focus. Of the Lord of the Rings movies, which do you think has the best soundtrack?
Oh man, I honestly think I think the Fellowship is dismissed. It's between Two Towers and Return of the King, purely because the introduction of the Rohan theme is just so
Okay.
powerful. I think it's gonna be the Return of the King because it has the Rohan theme and every variation of it, and
Okay.
it also has the greatest, probably maybe the greatest scene in the movie, the lighting of the beacons. That song
All right.
is like top tier.
Just 2 going into AP5, kicks another crit,
Ugh.
blinded.
Yeah, I don't
So
know if
my
this is gonna
opinion
be
is
going well for
Fellowship.
AP5.
I really love Fellowship. But again, you're talking about movies that are just fantastic. So
Yeah,
it's
right.
like,
I mean, ultimately, it's like I think one is better over the other. It's like great. So you're taking a perfect movie and saying it's better than the other perfect movie.
yeah. All right, there's
Hey,
Double Evades.
Squiggles, let's go AP.
No.
Jack's like, lock. Yeah, Howard Shore is like I don't know how to say this, guys, but if I take like a single like one of the Star Wars movies, or let's say Revenge of the Sith, because I think that's John Williams' strongest composition for Star Wars, and I put it up against any of the Lord of the Rings movies, I am taking Howard Shore every time, and that is not an easy decision, but it's clear enough for me to make. I'm like, Howard Shore, that's it for me. So
Fair.
But
Fair.
John Williams is the GOAT, and I love that man, and he's the GOAT for a reason. But Howard Shore doesn't get enough credit, despite getting a lot already.
No,
For Lord of the Rings movies.
he kills it. I think that the only person that gives that I would put in contention for GOAT with John Williams is Hans Zimmer.
Mhm.
He kills it on a lot of soundtracks.
Yeah.
Did you think I was going to say Danny Elfman? That's who you thought I was going to say.
Daniel. No, I'm just talking about Ennio, the chat, Flying the Mighty. Isn't there didn't Hans Zimmer, like, there's something I saw recently of him and the two of them on stage together, right?
Say that
Hans
again?
Zimmer, like, bows to him. Ennio.
No, Ennio Morricone.
Yeah. Ennio. How do you? Is it pronounced Ennio? I think it is, right?
That's how I pronounce it. So it's how it's pronounced.
But I don't know him very well.
It could be the wrong way to pronounce it, but it's how it's pronounced. Yeah, I say Ennio Morricone.
In terms of the music, the art, the composers who impact people's lives now continuously because they're still active, it's what's the big three is, like, honestly, I think Ludwig Göransson can fit into that picture.
Oh yeah, he's definitely he's a new, I wouldn't say newcomer, but he's been around for a while now. But yeah he's definitely in contention of, he should be brought up. Yeah,
I know I've talked to you guys about this before, but there is a series of a couple of YouTube videos this guy made. He's like a music scholar researcher who breaks down how Howard Shore, like, in like a scientific and emotional way, composes the Lord of the Rings and attaches instruments to themes and instruments to people, and it's incredible. And I strongly recommend it. It's, if you just look up like how Howard Shore makes us care or something, you'll find the video. It's like top.
Yeah. Could you give Gina Moonsong
am I missing
a shield, lose a shield, and give her a weapons failure?
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. I missed a shot there. Yeah. I've already gotten hammered on YouTube about how I need to shut up and talk about the game, which is a bit of an oxymoron.
Bear McCreary, wasn't that the Walking Dead guy? And then Michael Giacchino. Yeah, that's another one.
I disagree with that.
What? You get out of here.
Ludwig, Bear McCreary, and Michael Giacchino are the three best composers of the game right
I don't agree with that.
I could
but
disagree
I agree
more
that
with
they're
that.
They're worth talking about.
Sorry, I'm reading the chat and I say I disagree. Not mentioning Hans Zimmer is wild.
I don't know Jerry. I'm sure I know Jerry Goldsmith's work, but I just don't know what Jerry Goldsmith's work is.
Desplat is still around, but he's not really that big. He's I don't know. You're also actually the fact that Thomas Newman isn't mentioned in those names is just an absolute affront to humanity. Because Thomas Newman's one of the greatest.
Yeah.
But he's more of a class. So what we were gonna say about Hans Zimmer, real quick, is that Hans Zimmer is, like, I always think of him as he's an experimental composer, but very mainstream. He doesn't read sheet music, and that's really interesting to me. But like Thomas Newman's much more of a classical type of composer, with some modern type of approaches or styles. Anyways, back to the game.
All right. So Jag did a bank and then a barrel roll because he can, and gets in right up in Ezra's grill, but he would have been up in Ezra's grill if he hadn't moved. Just makes me think that Plo and Oddball were going to be, or Jag was going to be in Plo's way or something like that. I don't know why, because I was just too hard with Plo to chase after Gina, but don't know.
Even though you're joking about Daft Punk, I will forever love Daft Punk. Just one of my all-time favorites. Loves this guy.
I mean, Daft Punk for Tron Legacy, them and was that Michael Nyman? Who did the Tron Legacy soundtrack? Google machine go.
Also underrated, but Ben Salisbury does the music for all of Alex Garland's movies. Very, very talented man. Much more of an unnerving psychological thriller type vibe with his music, but very good. All right, Luke, it's time to put some hurt into Axe. Ezra and Luke in AP5's rear arc. AP5, don't worry, AP5 will outlive Jag. We know it. We know it to be true.
Such a hot.
All right, CLT shot it to Gina. Gina's got to pass the stress to Luke. That would make me nervous playing a ship like Gina where I'm always like having to pass by.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd botch that a bit.
Unless you have like Cassian or like Cassian, I guess the timing's wrong for that, so not that. But unless you have like Braylon or 10 to give, like 10 is great because 10's like, yeah, I might use 2 focuses. Yeah.
Well, define a monster score. 1917 was really, I mean, if you rewatch 1917, that music is unbelievably good. So, but that was what, 2019? A while ago. It's a little over 5 years ago. But yeah, Thomas Newman is just my personal favorite. I find his music to be just,
it's too nice.
Just beautiful. It's just
AP5.
beautiful.
AP5 gives 2 back.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Come on, Duke.
Duke Skywalker.
Duke Dirt Farmer. All right, Duke.
I mean,
not bad. Reroll. Can you get a crit? Yes. You got a
3
crit.
hits and a crit. See if he one-shots them. Nope.
No, not happening. But hit, crit. Going into
yeah.
Axe.
Also, that's a 6 health Axe. I forget about that.
Yeah, with a whole breach.
I mean, that's one to get. You got 2 follow-up shots if AP5 doesn't die, so. Gina Moonsong. Weapons failure shot. Like gets both in. 2 shields. Half of Mr. Ball.
Nano Antonio cracks me up, man. AP5, more like OP5?
I've said it before, and I think I've said it on your stream, is like whenever I'm in the chat with Nano, if there's a joke to be made,
he beats you to it.
I have to type faster than him because he will get it.
Oh no, this is so this is Jag potentially could one-shot 2 ships here.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah. Ezra.
He doesn't have a focus though. Yeah, he doesn't have a focus. If he had one,
he rolled. Yeah, he barrel rolled.
No, he spent something. He does. Then he's like, wait, no, I can't do that.
I will not spend that because I don't have it. Ezra says no. All right, and then he's going to go for the AP5 shot.
Oh,
most likely.
Come on, AP. Hang on. Hang
He's
on
got
for
two.
dear life, pal. All right,
Yeah.
let's go. Spending the lock. Oh, AP. All right, 2. AP just needs an evade, right? Oh, AK.
He
He
got
might
it.
not be dead. He has a hull breach though, right? So the
Yeah.
crit is
Oh, he
a
does, doesn't he?
wounded pilot. He's not dead yet. Not dead yet. That's actually kind of big.
It is. All right, we got the axe shot. Oh, that's not bad. He's like, should I spend it? I will.
Ezra, don't die here, bud. All right.
What, evade and force could be fine, right?
Attaboy.
I mean,
That's the
your
Bridger
shot
I
has
know.
been neutered.
Putting the Bridger in Bridgerton, if you know what I mean.
That's what they say.
That's not what anyone says at all, but here we are.
All right,
There's a lot of
so
boxes being dropped.
Ezra, range 1
Oh, come on.
into axe. This could
Unmodded.
be harmful.
Not
why
enough
is he only rolling 2?
Does he have weapons failure?
Ezra? No, I don't think so.
I think he must have clicked it. He must have clicked it. He must have clicked it.
All right, AP5 rolling. He's got 2. That's gonna be a crit
Oh,
because
come
of
on.
whole reach. Stunned. That's
Oh.
blank.
Damn it.
No one cares.
Whenever I'm streaming and you're like, oh my god, what could it be? What could it be? And then it's like Stun Pilot. It's just so like bad for ratings, you know? And Stun Pilot is bad for ratings. So I mean, get Axe out of there, and maybe you get Mr. Ball, and like this is what we call a ball game. Oh, Gina's about to die. She's got weapons failure, and she's well, I don't know. Are there any bombs? No bombs. No,
I don't think so. I mean, she'll get a shot at least into the next round. Luke does not have R4, so too hard in is sketchy. I mean, he's still got force, so that's fine. WASD click, was that a Johnny 5 reference?
WASD.
Yeah. WASD click or WASD click. I don't know if you actually pronounce it. Number 5 alive. But yeah, like Luke is in a rough spot.
Here's my daily soapbox session on stream. I mentioned how I had to cancel our Wednesday slot, and I tagged all the players. I removed it from our schedule in Stream My Match, and I even posted in Team League General, be like, hey, Stream My Match, Wednesday cancel, added Friday and Sunday, and Sunday slots are still open. And so Sherman's like, hey, Nick, Sherman San Diego versus Aeriic, late game Wednesday, February 5th. It's like, God damn it! Come on!
Like, yes, you can play it, but it won't be streamed by me.
All right. Oh.
Well, things aren't going great for Will, but he's still like oddballs on 2, axes on 2. That's an extra 6 points just sitting there waiting for you. The problem is that
still not enough.
is the only person that's had an objective for a while now, and he's just been clicking those numbers.
Wow, I see what you did there, Matthew Carey.
Yeah. That will be Will for the first time.
Ken Jeong readings gif from Community. It's one of my favorite gifs.
You talk about reading a little tiny piece of paper?
Yeah.
You couldn't see, but I mimicked what he did right there. Just so the play-by-play at home, so everybody knows. Ezra doing K2. Is that what? Does he have a K2? Yeah, he's got K2. Giving Gina a stress. AP5 piecing out, saying, "Please get me out of here." I think you just calculate and roll for wounded pilot. See, but in try and live. Oh, he's coordinating a lock to Luke. A Luke lock. Does not take a stress. Ezra just clears some stress and gets more stress because Ezra likes being stressed. Oh, I guess he didn't clear stress because he didn't have it before. But all right, Mr. Yag.
So, Mappy, to catch you up to speed, we were talking about who we think are the top composers now active versus all time, and then Howard Shore versus John Williams versus like Hans Zimmer versus Ennio Morricone?
Marconi. Yeah.
Marconi. I'm Thomas Newman's my favorite composer of all time, but most people know that now. I love that man.
He did Embers.
Who? Newman?
Yeah.
Newman did Shawshank, Bridge of Spies,
oh, yeah.
1917, Finding Nemo. He did The American Beauty. I mean, there's so many more that
I literally do not remember the soundtrack from American Beauty, but
it's just that
a lot of the other ones I remember.
With the bag.
All right. We got a focus roll from Gina, so she's got several tokens.
He did. He ended up doing the music for Tolkien, which was kind of like a meh movie.
Oh, the movie.
Music was really good. I enjoyed it, but I mean, it's not.
I was like, we just talked about how it was Howard Shore that did music for Tolkien.
The movie Tolkien.
Oh, gotcha.
A lot of errors in the script on that barrel roll.
Yeah.
Okay, who
right,
does?
It looks like he got blocked by Luke.
Oh, that blows.
Yeah, because Gina can. Oh, I honestly can't say. What does the chat say? Blocking. It was touched by Gina Moonsong.
Oh.
So,
well, Plo still gonna have a range one.
Actually, I think that might be. Like, because then you could have Gina shoot at Axe, and then Luke can shoot at. I don't know. And then Luke can shoot at Oddball. I don't know that I agree, but you do have target lock focus, so.
John Williams just doesn't. In terms of, I'm a very emotional person, and I wear it on my sleeve, and I am emotionally attached to the experience watching movies. And John Williams makes me excited, and the fanfare is epic, but he doesn't like pull at my heartstrings, unless it's Schindler's List. That is the exception for me, because that is like a real tough one.
I think the hardest that my heartstrings got pulled on is Ray's theme.
It's good.
But he does do some hype stuff because
who just whiffed one more crit into Axe, and it is a loose stabilizer. Anything but the direct hits into Axe.
Yeah. I mean, that was a really sad shot from Luke. He had target lock and force and still only got two. Gina's like, you know what? I'm still trying.
Checking to click. It's going to click it. Can he? Yeah, click has a lock on Gina. It's only two
because
dice.
Of weapons failure. That's still good.
Hit crits. See ya.
Takes the crit and is gone. Direct, finally. And that's exposed. Gets a damaged engine.
But that's the thing, guys. You guys are talking about like themes. Like that's what John Williams is really good at, is like the themes. But I feel like that's his thing. That's his bread and butter, is the themes and the fanfare. And
the
some themes are more some motifs are a little stronger emotionally than others, but that I just don't get that from John Williams. I get it from Newman.
Gina takes one. So is living on one. We're gonna have Oddball take the range 0 and pray that he gets 2, and gets none. Gina survives. I don't know. I like when you're doing the Imperial March, you're not trying to tug on heartstrings.
No,
you're trying to
yeah,
impose.
That's not
Yeah.
even what I'm trying. I guess I'm trying to say that. It
Yeah,
needs
no,
to be
no,
like
no.
that.
I'm saying it's like he's not shooting for. I mean, I guess you are feeling somewhat of an emotion,
Mhm.
but the same thing with like
And honestly, the way I'm describing it, it makes it seem like John Williams has never and is incapable of creating a very emotionally
I've
wrenching
heard you
music.
say that. You just explicitly said.
I just don't think I get that from him as much as I do from some of the other composers I like.
Ezra says no for damage, and
Oh
we're probably
boy,
going to get the rear shot into Gina.
she's still alive as a few. Oh no, she's dead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say I think that was the last one.
Props to Will for trying to make this a game.
Oh, did Ezra already shoot? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
AP5 saying, eat this, Jag.
Silvestri's a
And
good
Jag.
one for sure. Newman.
Tell me what
where's
Jerry
Newman?
Goldsmith has done, because my brain is not recalling
Let me
Jerry
pull up
Goldsmith.
first. Let me do Newman, then I'll do Goldsmith. Movies.
Predator is actually a good soundtrack, Vince. Oh, he did The Mummy? I don't remember the Mummy soundtrack. I remember the incredibly sexy cast of The Mummy, as we all do.
Newman did Wally.
I love that film.
Poseidon, 6 Feet Under, The Green Mile. There's so many movies here. The ones that are most notable, I'm just reading out loud. Why is there a credit for Return of the Jedi? Hold on a second. That's weird.
I got an interesting little tidbit for you about Hans Zimmer. Have you ever heard the song Video Killed the Radio Star?
Yeah.
He, in that video, which is the first music video played on MTV, Hans Zimmer is playing keyboards in it.
That's amazing. Finding Nemo, I agree. Obviously, as a child when Finding Nemo came out, and I have a very strong nostalgic connection to that movie, and that movie had a very deep impact on me as a kid because of the music.
It's a very good movie.
It is a very good movie, and the music is so like, it really hits you deep for sure.
Ezra just
is credited in James Bond, Gravity, Saving Mr. Banks. He's credited in Interstellar as well. He must have helped on some of this stuff, because I know that's Hans Zimmer's like best score.
Interstellar, probably, I agree with you on that. Hans Zimmer, well, oh man, Gladiator is so good though.
It's a Reddit subreddit. So Thomas Newman, underrated, unlucky, and underappreciated. That's my post right there.
Written by N. Sperry.
Road to Perdition, Elemental. Also, Shawshank's just one of the greatest movies ever made. So to be the composer for that movie, goes a ways.
Do we think Luke has a shot on oddball there? I don't think he does. He'll have to shoot at click, which, I mean, I don't think Aeriic cares.
Hans Zimmer's best scores. So that's interesting because Hans Zimmer said his best score is Interstellar. So I don't think that's right. If Hans said it. It might not be actually the best, but he's like my best film score is either Interstellar or I haven't written it yet. So that's what he said. There's a video of it. I love Gladiator.
Interstellar is fantastic.
Gladiator went platinum recently, so
I do enjoy Inception as well. I mean, and also, what is it? Just the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. They're fun.
You forget that's Hans Zimmer that does those. They're really good for sure.
The only reason I don't is because he plagiarizes himself. He steals some of the stuff from Gladiator, the Battle, which is I think the second track on Gladiator, and puts it into Pirates, and I'm like, that sounds very familiar. And then I was like, oh, it's because it's the same guy doing the same riff.
Yeah, I am not a huge fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack. Like there are some the themes are good. I don't.
Yeah.
I have it in my scores playlist, and I tend to
we get it. You don't like leitmotifs. You're like, oh, this is this person's theme.
When I'm relaxing and working, I'm like, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, it doesn't put me in the work mindset, you know. Dun, 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 dun. James Horner is the most guilty of plagiarism, though. Ooh, Spy the Mighty agrees. He did Titanic, didn't he? James Horner. That sounds right.
I feel like didn't James Horner do Braveheart?
It's happiness confirmed. I do love the Down the Dumps more the sadder scores, but absolutely not. I do love the epics as well. I just have to be when I'm working and I'm reading something or writing an email. Yeah. I prefer the easier to listen to tracks versus the epic fight scene scores.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. We got the GGs. But before we go, James Horner did do Braveheart, and Braveheart is a great score.
We could do a little sesh talking about our movie composers for a second before game 2. How much time do we have left? 17 minutes. All right, we got a few minutes.
What you're saying we're gonna play all of these artists, these composers, and get you taken down?
We do a bracket style where we like put people to vote on the brackets.
Composer bracket racket.
Danny Elfman ends up winning. No, not Danny Elfman.
Have you ever seen what Danny Elfman looks like? The dude is jacked. And he's got like tattoos all over him. It's not what you think when you think Danny Elfman.
We're not playing movie scores to get my stream taken down. Don't worry. But I will show you guys something. I mean, nobody cares, but I show you guys. I have my playlist that I use. I have to switch screens though. I gotta go to Spotify.
Can you freely show the Kylo SL?
I already did.
Oh, I missed it.
You missed
I joined just a little too late.
Yeah, you missed it. Scores. So this is my scores playlist. Honestly, it's kind of like, it needs a lot more. I haven't been adding to it as much, but it has over a day's worth of music, 437 songs. Typically, I don't just add everything from like a movie I really liked. I try to be selective with stuff that puts me in the right mood for the kind of work that I'm trying to do while I listen to the score.
Me and Sebastian's theme, that is so good.
Yeah, I have so many. Hurwitz is a good composer. A lot of like Hans Zimmer's like video game work. Brian Tyler, Modern Warfare 3. There's a lot of Hans in here. This Will Destroy You, Michael Dana from Moneyball. Moneyball has Michael Dana is not a composer that anybody knows, but the music in Moneyball is sound. It's
so you're saying good. With all this Hans Zimmer in here that he's better.
Yes, you heard it here first. Got my Newman. Got to get my Newman fix. Got my Howard Shore. Got plenty of Hans though. Max Richter. Lots of Richter when you scroll down through here.
Oh, Max Richter. That's the one that I was thinking of that did Embers. Yeah. Max Richter is good.
I've
only listened to one album, but very good.
Exceptionally good. More Newman. I've got my John Williams though. You guys are like, oh, you don't like themes, you don't like good stuff. I've got Arena's theme, Indy Negotiates, Indiana Jones theme, Anakin versus Obi-Wan from John Williams. I got all these themes. Sean Murray did a lot of video game work. Here's Morricone though. I even have You know what? I honestly, I can't forgive myself. I have Marconi music in my playlist, and I didn't even his name didn't ring a bell for a sec. But from the Hateful Eight,
yeah,
Salisbury.
What was I going to say? Oh, and Sufjan.
Got a few Sufjans.
I don't know why
in
he's
here.
in there. I don't know why Chicago's in there, other than you love Chicago.
Well,
what I was going to say was
it's in there because it is from it is a score from a
okay,
play,
it's from a score. Okay,
from the play. Yeah,
or is it?
It's
the soundtrack from The Bear. That's the reason why it's in there.
So that's Chicago radio edit, which is also in here. I believe that's the better version.
So what I was going to suggest to you in the chat is Max Richter does. He paired up with Woodkid and did a song together.
Oh, you told me about this. I think you sent it to me, didn't I? Don't have it.
I may have, but it's really good. Listen to that because it's just I also like Woodkid. I don't know if you've ever listened, but I think Woodkid's really good to listen to. But the two of them together, it's yes.
Yeah, this movie, guys, Looper. This is a movie by Rian Johnson. A lot of people hate him because of The Last Jedi, but I actually think he's a really good really good director.
I think he's a good director. I just didn't like The Last Jedi.
I don't. Well, my tinfoil cap theory is that he wasn't able to have the creative control that people think he had in that movie. That's my tinfoil cap theory because I think he's a good director and could have made a better movie.
Because I remember watching Brick. I remember seeing Looper. What else was his? But yeah, doesn't he do Knives Out? I mean,
yeah,
that was a fantastic film. It's but
yeah, he's
Jedi just had some misses in it.
Some ones.
Not the worst Star Wars movie.
Speaking of, you know what we didn't talk about though is that John Williams and Harry Potter. John Williams is the Spielberg of movie composers in terms of making all these massive franchises and being a pivotal part of it. That is John Williams' job.
He was the OG superhero film soundtrack. He's got freaking Superman.
Let's see. Capture cursor. Capture. Oh yeah, you guys are capturing my cursor. Okay, you just can't see it for some reason. Okay. But then our rest in peace to Johan Johansson. He did, Sicario. He did Theory of Everything. Died very young. Britell does Andor. Nicholas Britell is a very good composer. Actually, really awesome. He did Beale Street Could Talk was a great movie that had some Oscar love that year. Not sure why Ordinary Love by U2 is not supposed to be in here, and it's not playable anyway. So I'm gonna remove that because that's not. That must have been a misclick. Here's my Newman.
Apple's throwing stuff in at you again.
Yeah, right. I don't actually like U2, so I don't hate on that as much. But here you go. A lot of Newman and Richter. Ludwig, of course. The Mandalorian. The Swimmer is really good from Richter. Don't worry, guys. We will play X-Wing in moments. We're almost done. Yeah, so this is where it gets very heavy onto Max Richter. And then you get some more Newman. But yeah, tons of Richter. I'm a big fan. The only thing I liked about the Adam Project, which is otherwise a terrible movie, is the music by Rob Simonson is actually pretty good. There's Britell in Andor. Richter, Hurwitz. This is a great movie. First Man, very underrated, very good.
I remember that movie. I recommend Michael Nyman's. Have you ever listened to the Piano soundtrack?
No.
It's very good. It's very good.
I have stuff to add to this playlist. It sounds like I have some homework to do. Ludwig with Oppenheimer.
Okay, yeah.
Easy to add everything from that, to be honest.
He was a Mandalorian, right?
Ludwig? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He is also New Girl.
I don't know
when he first started.
About New Girl soundtrack. I mainly was there for the comedy. So
lots of soundtracks have a piano. Yeah, right. Dominic Lewis did The Man in the High Castle, and is one of my favorite shows. And unfortunately, it's very
I watched
relevant
3
today.
episodes with you.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a good show.